At 8:17 on a Tuesday morning, Marcus was standing in a repair shop staring at a $900 estimate. He needed the car for work. Payday was 9 days away. His checking account had $186 in it, and the mechanic was waiting for an answer. Marcus earned a decent salary. He paid his bills on time and did not consider himself reckless. Yet one ordinary repair had left him with two choices: use a credit card or miss work. That was the moment he understood something most people discover too late. His paycheck had income, but it had no instructions. So imagine Marcus decided to give every dollar 4 jobs: 25% for growth, 15% for stability, 50% for essentials, and 10% for guilt-free enjoyment. This is the 25-15-50-10 rule, and Marcus could not follow it. Not yet. His take-home pay was $4,000 a month. The perfect split would have been $1,000 for growth, $600 for stability, $2,000 for essentials, and $400 for enjoyment. But his essential bills were already close to $2,800. Instead of pretending the numbers worked, he created a starter version: 10% growth, 10% stability, 70% essentials, and 10% enjoyment. The rule is a destination, not a test you fail on day one. The first 10%, growth. Marcus initially believed growth meant investing, but his credit card balance was charging expensive interest, so he used most of this bucket to attack the debt while keeping a small emergency cushion. He paid every required minimum, directed extra money toward the highest cost balance, and stopped adding new purchases to the card. Every balance he removed gave part of his future paycheck back to him. He also checked his workplace 401k. His employer offered a match, so Marcus contributed enough to receive the full match available to him. He was not trying to outsmart Wall Street. He was using a benefit already included in his compensation. Once the expensive debt was controlled, he redirected more of the growth bucket toward a simple, diversified, long-term investment plan. Diversification could not remove risk, and returns were never guaranteed, but it stopped his entire future from depending on one company or one exciting prediction. The lesson was simple: growth is anything that makes next year financially stronger than this year. The next 10%, stability. The repair shop experience still bothered Marcus, so stability became personal. His first target was not 6 months of expenses. That number felt too distant. He aimed for $1,000, enough to handle one common emergency without reaching for a credit card. He moved the stability money automatically on payday into a separate FDIC-insured savings account. It stayed accessible and low risk. He did not put emergency cash into stocks or crypto because he could not control what the market would be doing when the next repair arrived. Stability did not make Marcus look richer. It made bad news less powerful. The 70% problem. Now came the hardest category: essentials. Marcus reviewed 3 months of transactions. Housing, utilities, groceries, insurance, transportation, and minimum debt payments were real needs. But convenience had quietly disguised itself as necessity. He canceled what he did not use, compared his phone and insurance costs, planned simple weekday meals, and applied a 72-hour waiting rule to non-essential purchases. For major purchases, he waited 7 days and asked one uncomfortable question: would I still want this if nobody else could see it? Then Marcus received a raise. Before, extra income would have disappeared into a nicer apartment, a newer car, and more expensive routines. This time, he protected half of the increase before his lifestyle could absorb it. Part strengthened his emergency fund. Part increased his retirement contribution. Slowly, essentials moved from 70% towards 60%, then closer to 50%. Not through one dramatic sacrifice, but through several deliberate decisions. The final 10%, enjoyment. Marcus could have removed enjoyment completely, But he knew what extreme budgets had done before: restriction, frustration, binge spending, guilt, and another failed budget. So he kept 10% in a separate spending account. If money was there, he could use it without guilt. If it reached zero, he waited. He never borrowed from rent or raided emergency savings to rescue a night out. The boundary protected tomorrow. The permission made the system sustainable today. What changed? Marcus did not become a millionaire in 12 months. That is not the point. What changed was his relationship with the next problem. When another warning light appeared on his dashboard, he did not feel the same panic. The repair fund was ready. His credit card balance was falling. Retirement contributions were automatic, and his paycheck finally had instructions before it arrived. That is what this rule can do. If 25/15/50/10 is impossible for you today, start honestly. Give all 4 jobs a percentage, even if growth or stability begins at 5%. Then move another 1% whenever a debt disappears, a bill is reduced, or your income rises. Think of the percentages as a dashboard, not a moral score. Take your last paycheck and divide it on paper. Which bucket is strongest? Which one is leaking? And what is the first 1% you can move? Because the first sign that you are becoming wealthier is not always that you can buy more. Often, it is that fewer things have the power to knock you backward. Tell me in the comments which bucket you are fixing first.